How many men have been president of the United States?
Oh, it's 46 or something?
Well, shall we ask the great man himself? Shall we ask the current president?
Is he here?
Is he here tonight? Ladies and gentlemen.
What a waste of a guest.
I'm glad we've given up my seat. I think I sat in the audience for this one.
Here he is, the president, but which number of the United States? He's here to tell us.
I thank President Bush for his service to our nation. As well as the generosity and cooperation he has shown throughout this transition. 44 Americans have now taken the presidential oath.
He's wrong. He made a mistake.
He's only been on once and he's wrong already.
He is currently known as the 44th, just as Bush was known as the 43rd, but they aren't. Bush was the 42nd and he's the 43rd.
Oh.
Do you know why this is?
One of them was invisible.
Was there someone who was president for a bit and then stopped being president? Someone else was president and came back?
There was one non-consecutive president,
Right.
who was the 22nd and the 24th.
Why did they count him as two? That doesn't make any sense. Yet they count Clinton as one.
Yeah, because his terms are consecutive. This one was the 22nd, then Benjamin Harrison was president, and then he was the 24th. This was Grover Cleveland.
I think if I was doing that, if I was setting that system up, I would have gone for the number of different men. Right?
Yes.
I would say, you know, that you get a new number if you're a different man.
Person, exactly.
Not if there was a gap.
No, I know, but there's only ever been one gap, and for some reason they didn't do that. So when he took his second oath, he was called the 24th president, although he was the same man who'd been the 22nd.
Well, he was actually Stalin.
He was, he does look a bit like...
So not only did he rule Russia, kill millions of people, he was two presidents of the United States.
It's a weird system,
That's
isn't
a CV.
it? It's quite a bombshell.
Now we know what he was doing in between presidents.
Yeah, exactly. Barack Obama is, in fact, the 43rd person to become president of the United States because Grover Cleveland held the position twice with a 4-year break in between, making him the 22nd and the 24th president of the United States. How many Spartans died at the Battle of Thermopylae?
Oh. This can be 300. Well, I saw a documentary about this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's definitely 300.
The film is called 300.
Is there not a thing that one... Because there weren't just Spartans there.
Sparta!
There were...
That is how it's pronounced.
There weren't just Spartans there. There were other... But I think one of the Spartans... The Spartans sound
There was
nasty.
a narrow coastal pass that was defended just by Spartans, 300 of them, plus their king, played by Gerard Butler, who was...
Spartan!
Called...
The 301st?
His name was... He was the 301st. Leonidas, if you prefer.
Leonidas.
He's now got a chain of chocolate shops.
I was brought up to call him Leonidas, but Leonidas seems to be the way now. I don't know. Who knows? But Leonidas or Leonidas, thank you. He defended a narrow coastal pass, and so they're 301. Only 299 Spartans died, though, so it leaves 2 who didn't. Leonidas did. 2 survived because they never took part.
Mike and Bernie Winters.
A lot of nudity going on, which was a very Spartan thing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got his sword.
The couple by the tree seemed very fond of each other, one's grasping the nipple of the other.
Oh, yeah.
So swords casually laid against them.
So much effort and not put your pants on.
I know.
There's something about the one of the ones that they were ashamed.
They were desperately ashamed. One called rather wonderfully Pan-Titties. It's a bit like...
Do you mean Pantitis?
There was an MP who was introduced to Churchill, whose name was Bossum, and Churchill said neither one thing nor the other. But anyway, Pan-Titties, or Pant-Titties, or whatever he was, Pantites, went off to deliver a diplomatic message, apparently, an embassy, and he hanged himself from shame when he got back and saw that he was the only survivor. In fact, he wasn't the only survivor, because Eurytus couldn't fight because of an eye infection. The Spartans have taken all the credit for the winning of the Battle of Thermopylae, but it was very much a combined effort with the Athenians, who were their allies at the time. Herodotus, known as the father of history, who was born 4 years after the battle, is the closest contemporary source, and he estimated the Greeks numbered about 5,000.
He was born 4 years after it had happened.
Yeah,
but he's the
closest...
best we can do.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
That's all right, then.
No one else wrote...
That's better than a lot of ancient history.
The father of history, what's he called?
Herodotus.
Herodotus. Because it must have been a lot easier when he was around. I'm not having a go at him.
No, it's a fair
But less
point.
things had happened back then.
Fewer things.
Yes.
I think. Someone will tell you that.
Common usage. Play common usage cards.
It's so like being back at school. It's unbelievable.
Apparently, you can say less or if you want to now.
Apparently, you can just say what you like these days. Apparently, that's
You can literally say less if you want.
Apparently, you're not allowed to scream idiot at people. What was the point in getting an education at all? I know how to use the apostrophe. Apparently, now it doesn't matter. What I want the time it took me to learn that back.
You need to be less bothered about this, or fewer bothered. You need to be fewer bothered about this kind of thing. Just let it go. Be fewer upset.
Why do doctors hit your knee with a hammer?
To test your reflexes.
Yeah.
That's correct. But what reflexes are they?
The reflexes are
Because they don't like
There's nerves that run from the thigh upwards to the
head.
No. No, you would think
Yeah,
that.
it's something to do. So the expression's like a knee-jerk
A
response.
knee-jerk reaction, yeah, a knee-jerk.
Because it doesn't go to the brain.
Yeah,
it goes. It communicates amongst itself.
Well, it goes
somehow.
up to the spinal cord. It doesn't go all the way up to the brain at all.
Yeah.
So it is unmediated by the brain entirely. It is absolutely a
But you can-
knee-jerk
It only
reflex.
happens in two times. One is when you get hit on the knee with a little hammer like that, and the other is when you're asleep on a crowded train. It's only two times. And you never see a doctor rushing off with a little hammer.
Anyway,
What
yeah.
if you did a murder with your reflex? If someone
Does
sort of
happen.
attacked your knee and then reflex, you had a knife
You
attached
broke
to your
their neck.
shoe or something, and you killed them, would you be able to say, but the reflex, it didn't go to my brain, it only went to the bottom of my spine, so I didn't really do it?
Yes.
That's like when you're driving and you have an automated response. It's called like murder by automaton, but you don't go to prison. So if you sneeze, for instance, and then you run someone over, someone sneezed.
Talk about a reflex.
That means there's been a murder!
Has murdered someone.
Now they know they'll get away with it. It's something like
You walk into a room
Fucking
with a
hell.
gun, cocked, sneeze, it goes off, you kill someone, you're in the clear.
So if you want to kill your wife, what you do is you drive down to Dover, you get her right up against a cliff, and then you put your leg behind her, and then get a doctor to tap the knee. Off she goes.
And the doctor would go to prison.
That would act up.
The doctor would go to prison.
I think so.
What if he was sneezing as he tapped the knee?
The perfect crime. Broadchurch Series 2.
I love this imaginary super compliant wife that you've found.
To be taken.
Just come all the way here and stand there. What are you doing here?
Why does the GP come with us?
Get her out of the house.
Isn't it a lovely view, my love? Stand still.
Now it's time for a round of quick-fire hypotheticals.
Quickfire hypotheticals!
So, all you have to do is tell me the first thing that comes into your head, basically, all right? It's a quick-fire hypothetical question. Let's say you found a fallen tree in the forest, right? Obviously, it fell down before you arrived, but did it make a sound as it fell?
No.
Well, no one's going to say yes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, do you know where this question comes from, as it were?
It's a
Bishop
famous
Berkeley.
Bishop Berkeley, yeah.
philosophical question, isn't it?
So that if there's no one to hear a sound,
Is there a sound?
is there a sound? It depends so much what you mean by sound, doesn't it?
Well, there isn't, because sound is the vibration of the eardrum. There is no sound
Is
if
it?
there's no one to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends, though, because part of the definition of sound is that there has to be a recipient for the sound.
Yeah.
Isn't there? There's the thing that makes the noise, and there's the transmission of the noise, and then there's the reception of the noise.
Yeah.
But if there's no reception of the noise, then maybe the noise doesn't exist.
Other things are still vibrating, but whether that vibration counts as a sound or not is
It's
a
in the forest
That's the
ever
definition
empty.
of sound is what happens in the ear. There isn't any sound if there's no one to hear it.
It's a mooty point.
There's a speed of
Yeah.
sound, and it's only what happens in the ear. Well, how do you get that speed between that and your ear?
Do you know,
Maybe by the time that tree's fallen, you got there, that sound's halfway around the world. and making someone else very nervous. Ah!
So, Stephen, are you sure about this?
Well, no one is sure. That is the point. That's why it's a hypothetical. No one knows. I mean, to a semanticist or a neurologist, they may say that sound is that, but to a physicist, they would say the propagation of sound waves is sound. Whether or not there is an ear to vibrate, it is a sound wave. And if it's a sound wave...
I disagree that they are sound waves, because if you go...
You may disagree, but you're welcome to. But you're not...
Vibrations, they only become a sound wave when there's an ear to receive it. It's rather like... Do you remember we talked about a thing that really astonished me? Did you know that light's invisible? It's the most extraordinary thing. If you, in a dark vacuum, if you shoot a beam of light across the eyeballs like that, you can't see it. Because you can only see what light hits. And it's the same thing, but people said, but that's a stupid answer, because the definition of light is something that goes into your eye and is then received. Until it does that, it's not light. So.
But we have all kinds of things like not ears, for example. Are you saying that it's not sound if it registers on a recording device that is left there without a human there? That it's bending the needle of a recording device? Does the machine not hear? Is it not a sound wave that is actually causing the machine to register?
Well, but in Bishop Berkeley's... I
talked about you, not about Bishop Berkeley entering a field. The point is, it's not as simple as just to say yes or no. That's why it's a good question. It's a good question. We would have unfairly forfeited someone who said yes just as much as somebody who said no.
I thought you said there was no right answer to this question.
There is no... That's why I said there is. That's why it's a good question. There is no right answer. So your yes and your no are both... That's
whatever I said, it would be...
Yeah, I'm afraid
so if the tree fell down and there was no one there to see it fall, it should still be upright.
Very true.
My only conclusion...
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Alan, are you keeping well?
Yeah. What way is Iceland's most recent volcano similar to Genghis Khan?
I think they're both shag nasties. Genghis Khan apparently has shagged everything that moves, and that he is the father and mother of all populations in Europe and Asia, so he shagged everything that moves. and the volcano, of course, has spurted out, had an orgasm of ammonia, and has fertilised Europe. Good answer.
I have to be brutally honest and say that's not what's on my card.
Oh, shit!
But if there was no such thing as science, you'd be right. I think I know what it is.
Yes, go on.
I think, obviously, that volcano stopped lots of transport going on.
Yes.
He must have stopped something happening, which the volcano stopped happening.
You're in this right area. The odd thing is it's both very beneficial, especially at the moment. It's a thing we talk about a lot. Now, that volcano poured out, they reckon, between 150,000 and 300,000 tons of carbon dioxide. So there's a huge amount of carbon came out as a result of it. But, if you remember, no one flew for however long it was, and the lack of flying saved 3 million tons. So, in fact, it was a huge offset of carbon. And in the case of Genghis Khan, he slaughtered his way across the world and had the largest empire the world has ever seen. 4 times bigger than that of Alexander, twice the size of the Roman Empire. And he killed about 40 million people. And the result was there was so little farming that the forests grew back. And you can time a huge benefit to the world from his slaughter. But that's rather extraordinary, isn't it?
So what do we have to pronounce?
Now, yes, that's what I was... How did you know that I was going to ask that as a supplementary question?
I thought you already did.
Oh, did I already say it?
Oh, that or I read it off the
you read it off the audio? You great big cheater!
There.
I would now like you to pronounce the name of the volcano, and it's written up there for you.
God alive. You're prawn rings.
You should have been a newsreader.
With your accent, you've got the best chance.
It looks a bit like that, yeah? Any thoughts?
Ye Jaff Yally Jockroll. Yeah.
Brian, You may have set it off again by doing that.
Yeah. I think the umlaut changes it, doesn't it? Those 2 little dots.
The 2 dots.
Yeah. And I think, actually, the way you're supposed to pronounce it is... Hutch.
If only.
It changes it.
Apparently, it's Ea Fayat Leiokodl.
And is that translated big smoky bastard?
Yes.
You will go by ferry.
Basically, the answer.